Good morning, students. Now, today I am going to start the new chapter of history. The name of this chapter is What, Where, How, and When. But before starting this chapter, I want to say that earlier I had sent the PDF of this chapter, and I hope that you went through the chapter. Now, let's start the chapter. So, first, the name of the chapter: what, where, how, and when. So from this line it is clear that what happened previously, in what way, where. So first we have to know about the history. Why study history? History is the study of our past. The knowledge gained from the study of history is important to understand both the past and the present. That's why we study history. So with the help of study of history we can understand past and present also. Now let's start the point. Finding out what happened. Yesterday you could listen to the radio, watch television, read a newspaper. Last year ask somebody who remembers. But what about long ago? Let us see how it can be done. So the point is, what can we know about the past? What can we know about the past? In what we know about the past? So now I am going to read. This is the paragraph. There are several things we can find out. What people ate, the kinds of clothes they wore, the houses in which they lived. We can find out about the lives of hunters, herders, farmers, rulers, merchants, priests, crafts persons, artists, musicians, and scientists. We can also find out about the games children played, the stories they heard, the plays they saw, the songs they sang. So, from this paragraph, we can say that we can know about them by seeing this type of things. What type of clothes they wear that time, what type of house they lived that time, and the life of the people. Some of people were hunters, some of them were herders, some of them were farmers, merchant, priests, craftspersons, artists, musicians, and scientists also. So by seeing their activities, we can say that what type of activities they done past. We can also find out about the games children played. So by seeing their things, we can say what type of games they played that time, what type of song they sang. So by seeing that things, we can say in what way they lived the past. Now second point, where did people live? Where did people live? So we have to find out from this paragraph. We can understand by reading this paragraph. Find the river Narmada on map 1. People have lived along the banks of this river for several 100,000 years. Some of the earliest people who lived here were skilled gatherers, that is, people who gathered their food. They knew about the vast wealth of plants in the surrounding forests and collected roots, fruits, and other forest produce for their food. They also hunted animals. So, from this paragraph, it is clear that people have lived long along the river banks of this river. Of this river means the Narmada river. So, first people started living along the banks of the Narmada river for several 100,000 years. Some of the earliest people who lived here were skilled gatherers. So those who lived along the banks of this river, so most of them were skilled gatherers. So what is the meaning of the skilled gatherers? Skilled gatherers means that the people gathered their food by moving from here and there. They collected food They also collected food from forest. They knew the different types of product could be collected from the forest. So they collected fruits and roots and other things they collected. They also hunted animals. Besides this, they also knew the hunter because they hunted animals. Agriculture developed. The places where rice was first grown are to the north of the Bindas. Except this, they also knew how to grow the rice. So they first produced the rice, and this rice were produced or grown to the north of the Bindas. Now here the India's map, physical map, and there is a Narmada river. You see that there is a Narmada river where the people, Narmada river where the people lived. Narmada river. Now the second next point is trace the river Indus and its tributaries. Tributaries are smaller rivers that flow into a larger river. So we have to trace the river Indus and its tributaries. So what is the meaning of tributaries? The meaning of tributaries are smaller rivers that flow into a larger river. About 4,700 years ago, some of the earliest cities flourished on the banks of these rivers. Later, about 2,500 years ago, cities developed on the banks of the Ganga and its tributaries and along the sea coasts. So, what said in this paragraph? This paragraph, we have seen that river Indus is very important river, and its tributaries also. Tributaries means that the smaller rivers that flow into a larger river. So about 4,700 years ago, some of the earliest cities flourished on the banks of these rivers. We know that most of the cities, earliest cities developed on the banks of the rivers because they flourished their cities on the banks of the rivers because the earliest people first grown the rice. So for production of rice needed water. That's why most of the earliest cities developed on the banks of the rivers. So later, about 2,500 years ago, cities developed on the banks of the Ganga. So here another name of the river is Ganga river and its tributaries and along the sea coast. So from this paragraph, it is clear that most of the cities developed on the banks of the river. The name of the river were Indus, and also the name of the river is Ganga. Because why they developed? Because for production of food crops, we know that water needed. So that's why they developed the cities near the banks of the river. So here we learned the name of the river Ganga, Indus, and also their tributaries, and we also know the meaning of the tributaries. Now look at the Ganga and its tributary called the Son. So what is the tributary of the Ganga? The Ganga and its tributary called the Son. In ancient times, the area along these rivers to the south of the Ganga was known as Magadha, now lying in the state of Bihar. Its rulers were very powerful and set up a large kingdom. Kingdoms were set up in other parts of the country as well. Throughout, people travel from one part of the subcontinent to another. The hills and high mountains, including the Himalayas, deserts, rivers, and seas, made journeys dangerous at times, but never impossible. So men and women moved in search of livelihood, as also to escape from natural disasters like floods or droughts. Sometimes men marched in armies. conquering others' lands. Besides, merchants traveled with caravans or ships, carrying valuable goods from place to place. And religious teachers walked from village to village, town to town, stopping to offer instruction and advice on the way. Finally, some people perhaps traveled driven by spirit of adventure, wanting to discover new and exciting places. All this led to the sharing of ideas between people. So, locate the Ganga and its tributary called the Son. We know that in ancient times, the area along these rivers to the south of the Ganga was known as the Magad, now lying in the state of Bihar. So, the south of the Ganga, what was the name of this part? The name of the part is Magad, which is situated in the state of Bihar. Its rulers were very powerful and set up a large kingdom. So that time the ruler of Magadha was very powerful ruler, and he set up a large kingdom. The kingdoms were set up in other parts of the country as well. Throughout, people traveled from one part of the subcontinent to another. The hills and high mountains, including the Himalayas, deserts, rivers, and seas made journeys dangerous at times. So that time we have seen that the people moved from one place to another place through the hills, high mountains. So these places were very dangerous places, journey places, very dangerous places that time, but never impossible. So men and women moved in search of livelihood, as also to escape from natural disasters like floods or drought. Sometimes men marched in armies, conquering others' lands. So difficulties, there were too much difficulties, but men and women moved from one place to another in searching of livelihood. That's why they went from one place to another. They avoided the natural disasters like floods or droughts. Sometimes men marched in armies, conquering others' lands. Besides, merchants traveled with caravans or ships, carrying valuable goods from place to place. That time, merchants also traveled from one place to another place with the help of the ships. They carried valuable things, valuable goods from one place to another place, and religious teachers walked from village to village. And that time, we have seen that religious teachers means that the persons that time they delivered the religion things, they said different types of good things they deliver to other people. So they moved from one place to another, one village, from one village to another village, town to town, stopping to offer instruction and advice on the way. So the main activities of these religious teachers were to give advice, good things. They advised good things the people on the way. Finally, some people perhaps traveled driven by spirit of adventure, and few people traveled from one place to another for adventure, wanting to discover new and exciting places. They wanted to discover the new places. That's why few people travel from one place to another. All this led to the sharing of ideas between people. So now today, up to this, now next day I will continue the next portion, the point why do people travel nowadays. So today, up to this. Thank you.